Welcome to Make It Happen, where today I'm sharing with you 5 ways you can recession-proof your business. Now, I'm not a recession expert. However, I do have some strategies that I think will be helpful for you to grow your small business in a time of a little bit of uncertainty. And stay tuned to the end, because in my favorite things, I share with you some of my favorite snacks that will surely make you happy at this time of year and anytime. Today, we are taking a question that came in from Pick My Brain and making it into a whole episode. This question actually came from 2 of my clients, but Heather asked it first, so Heather gets recognition. But this question comes from Heather asking the question, how do I recession-proof my business? It's so interesting to chat with business owners. I have a set of clients that I talk to every single month in various stages of business, in various different industries. Some of them are in direct sales. Some of them are CEOs of their companies. Some of them are just in startup phase. And every single one of them over the last few weeks have made a question or a side comment concerned about what's happening in our future and what the economic landscape looks like. Now, I don't have a crystal ball. I wish I did. But interestingly enough, I'm not worried about whatever may be coming, because I'm so committed to what I'm doing with my goals and with my business that I am ready to move forward, regardless of if it looks like a little different than what I think it might look like. Now, you might want to punch me in the face for that and say that I've got rose-colored glasses or that I'm not looking at things the way that they should be. And that's really not the point of today's conversation. But today I want to share with you some 5 different tips and strategies that you can use now to prepare your business for whatever may come, whether that's a recession or whether that is something awesome and wonderful that helps us all thrive in our businesses. Whatever it is, here are 5 tips that you can use today that will help you grow and thrive regardless of what is happening in the economy. So first and foremost, plan for the future. Now, this sounds silly because some of you are like, well, Michelle, it's here right now and I don't have time to plan. But you can always be planning for the future. Even if you're just thinking 12 months down the road or 18 months down the road, what would you know or do differently if everything was successful? And what would you know or do differently if you felt like there was a little downturn? Making some specific plans will help you feel like you are not just being reactive in your business, but you're being proactive to whatever may come. Now, sometimes, especially those in the small business space, are tempted to just hold back and just sit back and wait. I'm just going to wait and see what happens. In fact, a couple of years ago, when the political landscape was actually pretty tumultuous, I had a number of people who told me they weren't interested in my services or my work because they just didn't know what was going to happen, and they were very scared about whether or not they should even invest in moving their businesses forward. I have zero judgment because we all have to do what's best for us in our business. However, I saw a lot of people making decisions based off of external factors that made them very limited to what they could or couldn't do. And those kinds of limiting beliefs and limitations that they put on themselves were really tricky to get out of as they moved into something else. So as you plan for the future, plan for success. Plan for things to work, plan for your business to thrive, and act like your business is going to thrive. If you act like your business is going to die, it probably will. I remember specifically some of the aftermath and tragedies that happened in business in 2008. And I'll talk about that a little bit more in another section that I want to share with you here. But as somebody who has lived through, and I'm not that old, a number of different challenges that have happened in the world and in the business and the economy, something will always be happening. And we can hold ourselves back out of fear, or we can move forward with our plans in place and be willing to make changes and be flexible at the same time. But focus on what your future and what your mission is. What are the things that you know you're here to do? Many of the people that I work with, and in fact, 100% of the ones that I choose to work with on an annual basis, are ones that are committed and passionate about what they're doing. They love their businesses. They want their businesses to grow and thrive. They have a commitment and a mission that they're on to help make people's lives better, from online businesses to pets to speaking and authors and everything in between. And I work with passion-driven individuals. And yet even still, sometimes that passion can be muted by what's going on. And we often will get held back or question or wonder if we should do something else. And sure, you can make different changes. I know a lot of people over the last couple of years that have gone to get full-time jobs because that was the right thing for them and their businesses. There's no judgment in how you choose to provide for yourself and for your family. But if you want to keep your business going, focus on the future with your passion and your mission and create a plan that will help you be successful and plan to succeed. Plan to help your business thrive, and that will make a really big difference for you. So what plans do you need to put in place in your business to help them work? Maybe you take some time over the next couple of weeks, block out some time on your calendar to just sit down and do a little planning session. What would I do to recession-proof my own business? What would that look like? You'll get ideas for your own business when you create space for those ideas to come that'll be even better than anything I could ever give you. Tip number 2 is set unique goals. I mentioned briefly that I remember being in 2008. Well, I started my first company in 1999. As a 19-year-old, I grew and developed and built a big, to me, promotional products company called Doodads. And we imprint on pens, mugs, t-shirts. I actually don't do any of the imprinting. I'm just a broker. But I built a business and had a number of clients. And every year I would set dollar goals. And it would be, I would increase by 25% or I'd increase by 10%. And I always had increase in sales goals that I would focus on, and I would track all of my activities to help me reach those goals. And I was successful for almost a decade. And then as 2008 came and people were getting nervous, and I watched a lot of my business friends in the same industry really worried about what would happen in advertising and promotional products. And I decided that year to set a different business goal. And my goal was to double my customer base. So at the time I was running a small business, I was also working full time, and I transitioned that year after I had my first child to working on my business full time. And so I decided that regardless of what my paycheck was, and I had saved some money to help me through the transition, that I just wanted to double my customer base. Maybe my order sizes would go down. Maybe my customers wouldn't order as frequently. But if I just doubled my customer base, then that was something I could control. I set up daily, weekly, and monthly tasks. I had networking events I was going to. I was participating in marketing activities. I invested in some marketing activities. But my goal was to double my customer base. And interestingly enough, in a recession where I watched a number of my friends in the industry close their businesses, close their doors, and not work anymore. And again, there's no judgment here, but my income more than doubled that year. And it was beyond what I could have even expected. But I gave myself permission to set a different goal, something that I could control, something that I could reach out to, and it gave me the permission to not let whatever was happening in the world hold me back. So I'm going to encourage you to set some unique goals. Maybe you need to look at them a different way. Maybe you don't need an income goal. Maybe you need a customer goal. Maybe you need something entirely different. Maybe you want to grow your team. Maybe you just want to focus on growing your email list this year and have that be your number one, so that as things iron out, as they always do, you've built a solid email list. Whatever it is, set some unique goals that are different, that will challenge you, that will give you new things to work on. And as you create and as you innovate in a new way, you actually might breathe new life into your business. So figuring out how you can create new goals that work for you will actually help you feel like you are doing something, that you are being proactive, and take that opportunity to set something unique and different that will challenge you. I was incredibly surprised. And as I go into the next 12 months and 18 months, I'm looking at new ways to look at my business so that I can breathe new life into it, so that I'm still excited about it. And those unique goals will fuel me into the next session of our economy, whatever that looks like. Number 3. Yes, it's a great time to reduce overhead costs. If you have regular monthly payments that you're paying for, in fact, just as I was saying that, I know of a subscription that I am paying for monthly that I am not using. I need to go back in and cancel that. Look at anything in your overhead that can be trimmed. Anything in your costs, in your baseline costs that can be adjusted. There are many companies who have already shifted to working their teams remotely. So they've decreased their equipment costs. They've decreased their rental and space costs and their building locations. Those are great things to do where appropriate that match your business and your industry and your company. Anything that you can do to decrease overhead costs will help you feel more in control of the future. What can you do to make your business lean? And there are some great books about that for making your businesses lean. If you want to dive more into this conversation, and I'm not saying that you have to cut people out or that you have to have layoffs. None of that has to happen. In fact, I know a lot of companies that are committed to keeping their teams even in downturns, people who are committed to keeping their teams even during a pandemic. And some weren't able to, but some were able to keep their teams afloat because they wanted their teams to be happy and healthy, and they wanted them to know that they had jobs. So there are other ways that you can cut costs. So get creative. Look at your finances in an entirely new way. Maybe be willing to have a conversation with a different financial business planner that could look at your profit and loss statements and where your incomes and your outgoes are going so that you can look at creative ways to decrease your costs. Now, tip number 4 goes along with tip number 3, but I need to make sure that one of the things that you don't decrease is your marketing budget. Now, some of you are like, oh, Michelle, you're just saying that because you're in marketing. I'm not just saying that. Time and time again, companies that have decreased their marketing budget in times of recession in an effort to decrease costs, decrease their sales, and often struggle. In fact, I have a story that I love that illustrates this point. In the 20s, in the Depression, Kellogg's and Post were the top 2 cereal companies nationwide. There are a lot of other brands now, and Kellogg's and Post are still alive. However, Post made the decision to cut back their marketing budget, and Kellogg's made the decision to increase their marketing budget in a depression. They increased their marketing budget in a depression, and they even released a brand new product, Rice Krispies, in that time period. So instead of being scared and fearful, they moved forward. They had a new product launch and they increased their marketing budget. And at the time, Post really struggled. In fact, it took them more than a decade to recover from what happened in the first couple of years of the Depression because they were pulling back. So if you use this as an example, and if you remember what I did in 2008, I increased my marketing budget. I cut back in other areas, but I increased in the things that I was doing. I increased in the way that I was connecting with my clients. I increased in the ways that I was appreciating them for the work that they were doing, for the referrals that they gave me. And so I am increasing my marketing budget over the next 12 to 18 months. I'm making sure that people know that I am staying in business. I'm not just wasting money. I'm being very strategic, and I'm creating a plan about how to do that. But what can you do to increase your marketing budget? Typically, I recommend people spend somewhere between 4 to 10% of their annual sales on marketing each year. And that is regardless of what's happening in the economy. So if you've been able to get by on that 4 to 6% area, maybe you do need to bump it up to 10. If you're currently spending 10 and you're able to bring in a good income, what would happen if you increased it to 15%? Now, there are some businesses that spend a lot more than that. They're investing right back into the organization over and over again. I'm not here to give you a specific percentage, but I'm going to encourage you to look at your advertising costs over the last couple of years. But you actually can't use the last couple of years as the entire amount of your research. The last 2 years have provided distorted business income, outgoes, and profit and loss statements for every business. Coming out of a pandemic, recovering from the economy piece that we just had, and now maybe being faced with a recession, you can't necessarily look at 2020 and 2021 to give you the right answers. Go back 3 or 4 years to see the trends that happened in 2018 and 2019 and increase your marketing budgets as a result of those numbers. Now, if you're somebody who's already increased your marketing budgets over the last couple of years because you've seen things like this and you know this is a place that you want to grow, maybe that historical will work for you. But if you do need to go back a few years, I'm going to encourage you to do that, because it's not just about what you see right in front of you. It's about looking at the history and the trends and what works in your business, because you can't just do what everyone else is doing and expect that to work for you. So really evaluate and ask yourself the question, what can I do differently in my marketing? In some cases, you may look at your marketing budget and say, oh, I've spent 40% on this and that was good and I'm going to expand it. That can be a great way. In fact, we talk a lot about in the marketing space about whether you're going to magnify or whether you're going to innovate to create the marketing efforts that you want. You can magnify the things that you're already doing, or you can innovate and create new ways to be part of your target market's life so that you can stay top of mind with your prospects and with your customers to encourage repeat business. But I want you to ask yourself some questions about getting new eyes in your business. It may not be the time to take big risks and to try brand new things in your marketing that may be extra risky. However, it could be a good time to expand outside of your norm. If you've been successful the last few years by increasing your social media budget, maybe you do some events from time to time, and you've got a great email or content campaign, I would magnify each of those, but then I would find some new way to get in front of people. People are spending more time reading magazines and online newspapers these days because they have more time to kill and they've got things that they're trying to do and accomplish. Maybe you could get in front of them that way. Maybe you can expand your events budget, but change the way that you do things. Could you approach different vendors, different booth spaces, different trade shows where you could get in front of new eyes? Be willing to ask yourself some questions about new things that you can look at because you actually might be quite impressed about the things that you're able to accomplish and do. The last one that I want to share with you, which of course you can probably pick it, but I'm going to say be positive. Be happy. We talked about that at the very beginning, but look forward to the future of your business with positivity. Be a positive force and influence in your organization for your team members. Take some time to be positive with your employees so that they aren't sharing messages of woe, of fret, and of fear to your clients or to other people in the organization. Be positive when you interact with your clients. When they express a worry or concern, say, hey, we've been through things like this before and we'll get through them again. And even if you don't necessarily believe that yourself and you're feeling a little bit of fear, that's totally normal. I don't feel 100% confident about the things that are coming in the future. I know there's going to be bumps. I wasn't born yesterday and I'm not an idiot, and I know you're not either. But I also know that I can do a lot more for my team in a happy, positive space. And I can do a lot more for my customers when I show up excited about the future and willing to be able to do and have new things. And from a positive space, I can innovate. I'm currently looking at all of my product offerings. I'm looking at the ways that I do my annual marketing program. I'm looking at how I do my marketing blueprint every fall and winter. I'm looking at new ways to do things so that I can show my clients, my team, and the people that I interact with that I'm willing and happy to move forward. We're in this together. If we're going to thrive as small businesses and even as medium, big-sized businesses in what's coming ahead, we need to help each other. We need to link arms. We need to be positive about the future, and we need to help each other lift up where we are going to fall. Some of us feel like this is just too soon. What happened in 2020 kind of are barely recovering, and now something may happen again. I get it. And in a lot of cases, I'm tired, just like you might be tired too. But I also know that we cannot move our businesses forward from a place of sadness, from a place of pessimism, and from a place of worry and fear that doesn't give us the innovative ideas that we need to move our businesses forward in creative and positive ways. So I hope that you'll consider these 5 ways to recession-proof your business. And I'm no expert on recessions, so I'd love to hear what are some ways you are recession-proofing your business? What are some things you're doing to keep the community and the areas that you live in to thrive beyond whatever may or may not happen in the future? And what can you do today that helps set you up to succeed? One of the best things I ever did, I read a book by Mike Michalowicz called Profit First. I'll include the link in the show notes. He talked about similar budgeting strategies for individuals as you do for your businesses. And when I read that book, it changed the way that I did my business and changed the way that I saved for the future. And after over 20 years of small business ownership, I'm in a position where I don't worry as much because of the planning that I've done in the past. Now, that doesn't mean that I can sit on a cush life and never ever work again. I'm not there yet, but making decisions about how you save for the future so that your business can thrive financially will always be helpful. So whether you are in the planning phase, whether you're looking at ways to innovate, whatever it is that you do, I'm cheering you on as you thrive in the coming months ahead. Thank you so much for being part of Make It Happen. I'm wishing you the best, and I can't wait to hear how you are recession proofing your business. I know today's subject can be or seem sometimes a little bit heavy, so it is the perfect time for a few of my favorite things for a snack edition. It's been a little while. I always try to weave in some snacks here and there, but today we've got a snack edition of my favorite things. We're going to start with these. Okay, I've said before, but at our house, we are trying to eliminate things like high fructose corn syrup and food colors. It's real hard, okay? And I know that when I say those words and you also remember my addiction to sodas, that it sounds like an oxymoron, but we're trying in other areas, okay? So we've eliminated some fruit snacks and some fruit roll-ups and things, and I found these real fruit yo-yos, okay? Say that 10 times fast. They are non-GMO, they are made from real fruit, and they're very, very tasty. There's no food colors. There's no added sugar. There's no high fructose corn syrup. I found these at Costco, and I've also seen them at other stores now. A lot of people are carrying them. But if you're wondering if they taste good, the answer is yes. I bought them for my children, but I keep them in my bag now because they make me very happy. I love the berry. I've also had mango, but they're just tasty, and they're in a little roll so the kids can roll them out. And don't get me wrong, my daughter still prefers fruit by the foot, but from time to time, these will work. Okay, now you know I love gummies. I'm so thrilled because Sour Patch has come out with some fruits, okay? This happened first. I saw these in New York in the airport, and I bought 6 bags and brought them across state lines. And I'm not sad I did because I've been in Utah for 6 weeks now since that trip, and I have not found these anywhere. But you know where I did? Amazon, and they came straight to my door. I bought 10 bags. Now, someone has said that they have seen them in Utah, and they have also said they've seen them in other states. But if you can't find them, they actually were quite reasonable. I only paid like $1.20 a bag, and they came to my door. So I think they're great. They're not so sour, but they're just sweet, and they're the perfect size. And so if you like peach rings, or if you like the Haribo peaches, you've got to give these a whirl. This bag is going to Tyler behind the camera because we talked about peach rings last week. Okay. Also, along with that, they're doing a whole fruit series, I think. I hope they do more. But they do watermelons already, you know, because they're delicious. But this is grape. Grape is also very good. Not super sour, but fun, tasty treats. And I am just happy about this little thing. I would love for them to create a fruit mix where I've got... I don't know if I've talked about this before, but I have reviewed them on Mom's Opinions Matter. They also have strawberries. So strawberries are kind of old news, so we're not talking about them today, but I wish they had strawberries and peaches and grapes and watermelons in one fruit basket bag. Did you hear me, Sour Patch? I'd love for you to do that. But if not, I'll just buy all of them and put them together in one bag myself. Tasty. Now, I am a sweet tooth, and generally I only share sweet things. I actually have to share with you an ice cream from Trader Joe's called the Wild Berry Cheesecake. It is delicious. I know there are Trader Joe's all over the country. I hope you can find one. But the Wild Berry Cheesecake is fun for summer. I buy the butter waffle cookies, not waffle cones, but I just buy the butter waffle cookies, and I put just a little tiny scoop or sliver of ice cream on top of those, and I hand them to my kids, and they think I've just given them a whole bowl of ice cream, which for the record I haven't. It's really small. It's just a bite. But it's a great way to eat wild berry cheesecake, and that's good for summer too. So, but savory treats, these buffalo wing Cheez-Its, I think about on the regular, okay? I love cheese of almost any kind. So Cheez-Its have been a fan, but I don't know if you're anything like me. Sometimes Cheez-Its just leave me wanting. Not the buffalo wing kind. These are hard to find. They were around all the time, and then they were gone. And so I search and scour. This box actually came from a friend. But if you find buffalo wing, I feel like they give them a little bit of a kick, and they're tasty. And so I have to separate them out by serving size so that they last me longer than a day. My son also loves them. And so this box was given to me as a gift, and I have to elbow him down to keep them for myself. But if you need a savory snack, this is a good one. So these are a few of my favorite snack things. And take all that money that you're worried about losing in the recession and go buy some snacks, and it will make you happy. Just kidding. I love you guys. Thank you for being with us for this short but powerful Make It Happen episode. I know your time is valuable, and so sometimes I want to just slip in with a few quick ideas that will help you grow and build your business regardless of what's going on in the world. I hope you've got some ideas of what you're going to be doing to prepare your business for the future, whatever may come. And I also hope you feel inspired to be positive and happy about the future so that you can love what you do every single day. Thank you for being part of Make It Happen. I hope you'll share your thoughts and comments and reviews so that others may find shows and podcasts just like this because of the things that you say. We're all in this together. We're cheering you on. Make it happen.